I've got great power here today. I feel like by drinking out of a cup with Dick Masterson's face on it, I gain some of his power. I gain some of his energy. I become a being closer to that level of LA based comedy.
Are you a Florida-based comedian now?
I'm a Florida based comedian. I'm on the road to becoming an LA based comedian, and every time I drink out of this cup, it gets even stronger.
I had Merry Christmas, by the way. We're recording this in between Christmas and New Year,
Yeah. This
uh,
is no.
commonly referred to
Alex,
as Limbo Week.
Alex, this is our biggest time travel in history, Alex. We're recording this in a different year than when it's going to come out.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to
So,
you
so
guys
Alex,
who are listening.
so
I
Alex,
brought
oh,
right.
okay, you're gonna
I'm
say
giving
it?
myself props here. I'm making
Okay,
myself look
okay.
good.
If you want to say it, go ahead.
The Sean Show and Dick Show cups that Riely are glasses. Excuse me. That has mentioned. Riely mentioned. I bought them for him for Christmas. Will toot my own horn.
Yes, I received the beautiful
I
Christmas
did get a
gift.
thank you. I did get a thank you, and I was very happy to receive that thank you because I did an amazing job with Christmas this year. Everybody loved my gifts, and I was great.
There you go. But yeah, so I got these cups and they're awesome and I love them. But unfortunately, the fact that they're so awesome and I love them has turned me into sort of a hypocrite. This is the Riely versus Riely segment because I've got some explaining to do. Because what you don't know, Alex, is the week that I received these cups and loved them so dearly and told you how much I loved them, and that was a correct thing that I said. On that week's issue crew, I brought in a certain issue. The issue was glass. And I was very against just things being glass in general.
Okay.
And I said that on the issue crew, and I did a whole issue about it. And then a couple days later, I get some glass cups, and they're the best Christmas present ever. So I guess I'm just a big fat liar.
I was gonna say you might want to go put out another addressing my past part 2.
Yeah, addressing my past part two, glass. It's fine because I got some cool Dick Show cups.
I'm very glad those made it to you. I was very worried because I put my legal name for I got the shipping address right, but I put my legal name as the person who was getting them. So I didn't know if that was going to cause problems. So I was very nervous about that, but I'm glad that they arrived to you safely and not broken.
Yeah, that was they're packed pretty well. They were like bubble wrapped and shit.
Dick Masterson knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he doesn't. The Dick Masterson doesn't want to pull a Butt Sanchez.
Well, I mean, he already fucked the cups up once, too. The glasses once, too, as well, so.
Oh yeah, there was something fucked with the glasses. What was it?
The labels were all fucky and could be taken off with a knife.
Oh shit. Okay, and you
These are the
fixed
good
that,
ones.
right?
These are the good ones. Yes, he did fix it.
Okay.
He had a whole episode intro about how he could take the labels off with a knife, and the knife wasn't even that sharp.
Yeah, but no, the cups are dope, even though they're made out of an inferior substance. But that's okay.
They're
'Cause they
classy.
look cool.
They're classy.
They're classy. That's what glass brings is classiness. My main point on this.
A plastic wine cup. That's boring. That's low class.
Yeah, I mean my argument.
High class glass.
My argument was more of a utilitarian one, where it was just class out the window. It kind of seems like dumb at this point that we have access to other materials that are not breakable or hazardous like glass is, and we still continue to use glass all the time.
It's for high class people. You're a high class man.
I guess so, but I'm also a clumsy man, and there's a lot of glass breakage in my house.
I'm not buying you new ones.
I know. I'm gonna try to be very careful with these glasses because they mean a great deal to me.
It's also the first Christmas present to a co-host I've ever given in these 5 years of podcasting. You got.
For some reason, I thought you got something for me last Christmas, but that might not be true.
I don't think I've ever sent you anything other than Dick Masterson's book.
Yeah, oh, that was like around my birthday that you
No,
did
it was
that.
like 2 months after your birthday.
Around my birthday in very broad strokes. But yeah, I got some cool ass Dick Show cups that uh, kind of screw over my glass issue, but that's fine because it didn't win. Sad Pet Videos won, which I still stand by.
That makes sense.
Fucking Kevin, man. Fucking Kevin.
That makes sense, though.
Nobody look up Kevin the Kitten on TikTok. Don't do it to yourself. I was hurt. I was crushed. Well, welcome to the show, to Detour Ahead, the show, the podcast, the extravaganza, the program on your computer screen. I'm Riely. Here's Alex.
Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to
Happy New Year.
2024.
It's 2024, but for you, not for us. It's weird. Ooh.
Very big year.
What if the world ends before the new year and nobody ever
Dude, I
hears
hope
this?
the world fucking ends, man. I really do. There are
What if
multiple days I wake up and I'm like, I really hope I just get an alert on my phone halfway through work that just says, asteroid coming to Earth. You got 10 hours left to live. I'm going to be like, call my boss. Hey, yo, you got that alert? Yeah. I quit. I'm done. I'm
and then
out.
a British man will very sultrily teach you how to commit suicide. That's a reference to a
You
YouTube.
don't think I know how to commit suicide
It's a
by now?
reference to a YouTube video nobody's ever seen. So I went through a very brief
I was going to
phase.
say, I thought you were just making like a one-off comment, and I'm like, come on, you don't know. You know, half the population knows how to commit suicide at this point.
So I had a brief phase.
I guess you know, but I mean, it's a simple plane ride to a
To a
land of ice.
certain country. No. Well, I guess it is a land of ice, even though it's called Greenland. It's weird how that's mixed up.
No, the history behind that is they didn't want they called it Greenland and Iceland because Iceland's the nice one, and they didn't want people going there.
That's
They're
fair.
like, this shit is ours. We're gonna name it Iceland. We're gonna switch the names. Everybody's gonna want to go to Greenland because it sounds like a beautiful place. Nobody's gonna want to go to a place called Iceland.
Yeah, that's fair. But
they did it out of spite.
Fuck, what was I gonna say? Oh no, you interrupted me and I don't know what I was gonna say. No!
Sorry, I had to interject with the little segment I like to call Alex's History Corner.
No shit, what was I gonna say? You don't know how distraught I am about this, Alex. You just fucking ruined my life.
You were talking about killing yourself or something like that.
Yes, okay. So I went through a brief
taken out of context.
I went through a brief
killing yourself. Yes.
So I went through a brief phase where sometimes I'll become fascinated with weird internet trends for a small amount of time. And there was a time where I became fascinated with like horror simulations. Like people will put together these fake videos of like a real like emergency broadcast system for like TVs, and they'll put together like a fake video of them like broadcasting some sort of horrific apocalypse. And one of the ones I saw was like in the style of like mid 2000s BBC. And it was like there were aliens coming and they were gonna shoot a laser at the Earth and blow it up. And at the end, once it's like it like builds up bit by bit where they're like, what is this thing? Is it a meteor? No, it seems to be some sort of space station. What is it doing? Is it peaceful? No, it's not. A laser is going to fire out of it and kill us all. And when they got to the final phase, the BBC guy, the British voice, just starts saying like, yeah, we're all going to die. It's over. And he's at some point he's like, if you want to go out with pride and take it into your own hands instead of letting that meteor do that, here's how you do it. And he very logically explains to you how to kill yourself via either a gun or a blade.
Now, here's a real question that I actually want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
If the world was ending and there was nothing we could do about it, do you think the media would drop their professionalism?
I would hope.
Like the idiots over at Fox News or CNN are very professional in a certain type of way. They present the news in a professional way, whether it's right or wrong. Do you think that if they were reporting on the world ending, they would drop their professionalism?
No,
Like,
you would think that, but this AI generated British man was certainly very professional about it. But in real life, who's to say?
I feel like I don't think they're gonna be like the world's fucking everybody. I don't think they're gonna send people into panic. I think they're gonna stay calm and collected. But I don't know. It could go one or two ways. I don't think they're gonna sit there at their little desk and go, "Ladies and gentlemen, I really think this is the end of the world. I don't think that any of us will survive this. If anybody manages to survive, I hope you survive with honor and greatness. And it has been my pleasure to present the news for the past however many years I've been doing this. Thank you, everybody." I don't think they're going to do that. I don't. I really don't.
You think it's gonna be somewhere in between? Oh fuck! Oh god, we're all gonna die, and what you just described.
I really do. I think it's going to be try not to induce panic, but the human element and the fear is going to show on camera.
I wonder if somebody will keep the calmness and collectiveness of that very very sultry British man who was not real at all. He was very prompt. He was like, "Hey, listen, we're all gonna die. Spend time with your loved ones. Do what you have to do. If you're gonna kill yourself, here's how you do it. If you have kids, you probably shouldn't kill yourself. That would be kind of shitty of you to do."
You got killed first.
Whoa!
You don't want them to suffer the end of the world. You end their world.
Would you tell them about the end of that? Was one of the things you said too. It's like it's up to you whether you explain to them what's going on. Would you explain to a small child that the world was going to end and everybody was going to die?
What grade?
Well, what is the age minimum for you to explain to them that the world is ending?
If they're preschool, I'm not going to bother.
What is the age? What is the youngest kid that you would explain the end of the world to?
Probably like 7, maybe 6. It depends.
So you would tell Alex about the end of the world.
No, I'd make Gingy do it. It's not my kid. Not my kid, not my problem.
Yeah, that is an interesting scenario to think about.
No, but if it was my kid, I would probably make it a game. I'd be like, "Hey, we're gonna go down to this bunker. We're gonna play Army Man. Yeah, you learned about World War II in school, right? Well, you see, let's go and pretend that they're dropping bombs everywhere." You make it a game because kids understand games. If you make things like metaphors and shit, they'll understand it.
But if you lose the game, you're gonna go to sleep and you're never gonna wake up.
Well, so you better, because they can't, especially young children, they can't fully comprehend never. Because they don't really have a good concept of time.
It's like, you know how you wake up in the morning? That's not gonna happen.
I mean, I guess you could go that route, but you don't want to scare them either. Because if you're a parent dealing with a child at the end of the world, if you scare them, they're going to cry. And then your end of the world is going to kind of suck.
I mean, I'm going to cry at the end of the day. So, like, I don't know how you're going to respond to it, Alex, but I probably will cry, so...
I don't think I'd cry, honestly.
No, my problem is that my greatest fear, by far, is death. Like, the concept of death terrifies me to my very core. So I would be just, like, a complete mess and just, like, be crying and crying and sniveling about
your life.
I'd just be crying and sniveling about my impending mortality as the meteor came to kill me. That would be the end of my life.
Do you want to be a crying little bitch for the rest of your life? Is that something you want to do?
I mean, it's not something that I want to do in concept, but it's something I would do in execution. I know that about myself.
I don't know. I think I'd be like,
I'm gonna cry on my fucking deathbed too. If I know that death is coming, I will fucking cry. because it scares me more than anything by a significant margin. Is
Yeah,
how
if
what
you're
is it like to be
you
dead?
you have children and like grandkids, you're gonna stay strong for them.
I don't know if I will.
I
I
guarantee you,
should, but I don't know if I will.
I have seen two grandparents not actively die. I've never seen anybody die, but I have seen two grandparents literally laying on their deathbed.
But they believed in God, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they're boomer. They're
Yeah, so that's the difference. Is
they
I
were
know that the heaven is not waiting.
they lived their worst life. All right, they lived through both world wars, or the Second World War, Vietnam, Korea War. My grandpa fought in not fought. I think he was in Navy Reserves. Maybe I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But like, he was always upbeat. Yeah, up until the last time I saw him, always upbeat. And
Can I
especially with like Christmas, I'm learning that he knew. There were times where he thought that was his last day, and he told whoever was there, "I think it's time for me to go." And then he lived for another like week or two. But like behind closed doors, when no family members were around, I do think he was scared, and I do think like I'm sure there were tears shed a little bit, but when family is around, you don't show that part.
can I be completely unrelentingly brutal towards the Catholic religion for a second?
Oh fuck the Catholic religion.
Really Christianity in general, but I've
I
only really
fuck Christians.
what'd you say, Alex?
I
You
said
keep cutting out.
I won't say fuck Christians.
I'm not gonna say
Catholicism
fuck Christian. Maybe this is Catholicism. I don't know. Here's the thing, right? I'm about to get really deep and emotional. It's gonna get weird tonight on Detour Ahead because Alex has put me in this sort of mood. So because we just talked about like death and shit and like mortality. Um, I think I became. So the thing is, like, I don't I don't hold people's like opinions or ways of life against them as people under any case.
Yeah.
Like except for like the obvious extremes. Like if you're like a rapist or a murderer, I don't fuck with you,
Say,
obviously.
fuck Bernie Sanders, then you'll hold that against me too. But
Yeah. I don't hold that against you. But um, with that being said, like I have religious people who I do respect, and even in saying this, that doesn't feel the way change the way I feel about them as people. But I think the death of my grandmother really just solidified for me just like my sort of disgust at the religious process. Because what happened, right, is so my grandmother has always believed in God. She's very religious. She is the reason that I went to church every Sunday for the first 12 years of my life. She is the reason I went to Sunday school. It was a whole thing in my life during my early life. I was almost an altar boy, but I was afraid of carrying candles because of fire. I I was involved in the church at a young age because of her, and she's always been very devoted to religion. And when she passed, I we went to a mass that was held in her honor. And first of all, I think the mass costed her husband like a couple $100, which that kind of got under my skin. Even though I guess it makes sense, but it still got under my skin.
yeah.
Uh, and then just sitting there and like listening to the scripture being quoted and shit and like understanding that based on my worldview none of it was real, and then just thinking about the fact that my grandmother devoted her entire life to this idea, and was expecting some sort of beautiful afterlife in exchange, that if my viewpoints and beliefs are correct she did not get, and even in death she was devoted enough to the church to want us to pay them a bunch of money to hold a mass in her honor. That and they got those last couple of $100 out of her at the end of her life, for something that I don't believe is real. It kind of put me in a very introspective position about religion that kind of solidified my already negative feelings.
So if I could interject real quick, I know this show is not all about the Dick Show. We have a
Okay.
separate podcast for that called the Dickheads Podcast that will be coming in early 2024. But something that Dick Masterson brings up a couple times is I believe his mom went to go see the Vatican, and she saw the immense amount of money that they have on like the gold on the buildings, and like just the sheer amount of like just beautiful architecture that they have, and like the wealth that the Vatican has, turned her away from the Catholic Church.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Just one example. Like there are multiple people who turn away just because of the financial situation. Like the Catholic Church will act as beggars 24/7, but if you look at them, they're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars every couple months. They have so much money, and it's all donated in the name of Jesus Christ. But like, it's a scam.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty big scam.
I will say, a lot of the funds that you see going to the church and stuff do go for like utilities, property tax, government shit.
Yeah. Like it's maintaining the individual church.
I'm not saying never give the church any money, but like the amount of money that the Catholic Church makes for being it's the biggest. It's literally the world's biggest nonprofit organization, basically.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the Catholic Church is fucked. I feel like,
and I don't think my grandpa had a mass said in his name, but like it's ridiculous. It's crazy for me as a 1998 baby, a zennial. I think that's what people are calling the 97.
Where do you actually fall if we're not using our slurred middle language? Like where does the year range actually fall for you?
Technically elder Gen Z.
Okay.
But there's such a big like it's very weird. There's such a big distinction between millennials born in 1990 and 96 versus Gen Z born in 1997 and 2007. Like there's such a big distinction between those dates just because of so much technology was made. But I think that little awkward, like, you bleed into the millennials or you bleed into the Gen Z, they're the zennials. It's not an official thing. The names don't mean anything at all. But anyway, me being a 1998 baby, and like having Catholic Church background basically my entire life, I've seen it and I'm like, I believe in Jesus. I believe there was a man named Jesus. I'm a little skeptical on like the miracle side and like God and
I'm pretty sure it's a fact that there was a man named Jesus, but it's about whether he was the son of God and whether there is a God.
I'm skeptical. Like but that's the thing. Okay, that's where I'm getting at. Is our generation, you and me, some of us might believe, some of us not, but there's a decent amount of us who are like, well, I mean, I believe it, but at the same time, I'm like, come on, like this doesn't make any logical sense.
Yeah, I think the Bible is
we don't have any faith. We don't have any faith anymore, and that's.
I think the Bible is a garbage
between Gen Z and like boomers, or what is it, the silent generation?
I don't know what it is.
Whatever generation is before boomers, but like your grandma and my grandpa, that generation before our parents' generation, never had any doubt in their mind.
Yeah, it was just fact at that point.
It was fact. Well, I don't want to say fact, it was faith. It was 100%.
I'm saying practically in how it was spread, it was fact. Like, nobody doubted it at all.
Yeah.
But like, I think that the Bible is a
emergence of science and technology. A lot of people are turning away from like religion and faith.
You're too aggressive tonight, Alex.
How am I? I'm trying to agree with you here.
Usually usually how it works is like we interrupt each other and like sometimes one will just let the other go and the other time it'll be vice versa. I feel like I've never been able to successfully interrupt you tonight. And
You're talking about, you brought up topics that I'm very knowledgeable on and can articulate my thoughts very, very well.
that's fair. But
That's your fault.
I know, I
Power
understand.
Rangers and how Power Rangers relates to God, and I'm gonna be silent.
Okay, so in Power Rangers, right?
Don't
I,
no,
I
no.
have no idea how to
This
relate Power
conversation
Rangers to
is going
God.
strong here. Don't throw off your point.
But so
Continue.
I think
I
the Bible is
apologize for
a
interrupting.
I think the Bible is a terrible piece of literature to live life by. Like it's such a flawed text that like honestly at this point I feel like if it is real, like wow. Like I fucking hate that that's
Metaphor.
what the world is.
The whole book is a metaphor.
Oh yeah, that's what all the fucking Bible thumpers say to whenever you're like, what about this part of the Bible? What is that a little bit? And then they're like,
The
oh,
part where it
metaphor,
says,
metaphor.
if your slave escapes, you can kill him.
What about the part
What?
about how the
They're like, well, those were different times. Like, we haven't had slavery in a while. I go, yeah, but like, it's in the Bible. You
now
say
what
you don't
about
work because it's in the Bible. Do you follow this? Like, do you
now
think
what
you
about
should
the
have
part
slaves?
when a bunch of kids made fun of a bald man, so God has sent bears to kill them? What about
Yeah,
that part?
like, it's metaphors. The whole thing is just a bunch of metaphors.
Of course, of course. But yeah, like for I still cling on to this kind of
Oh, continue. Go ahead.
I
I
still
don't want to
cling on
interrupt
to
you. I'm
this.
sorry.
I still cling on to this kind of vague belief that there is some sort of like deity beyond like what is understood earthly because I
Because you
feel
don't
like
believe nothing.
I feel like life is too special to have happened by accident. And maybe that's just too
So
optimistic, but
I
optimistic, but I do in the bottom of my heart I think I believe that there's something deeper to life than what is on the surface.
I like to believe a little combination of religion and science. So you know the Big Bang Theory, right?
Yeah,
Everything was.
isn't that like recently disproven though, or at least like it's been kind of
We're gonna act like it wasn't because I don't know the
okay.
information. I'm not looking it up right now. We're
Sure.
gonna act like it wasn't. Don't come at me. I don't know. All right. Anyway, the Big Bang Theory. We'll start at the very
It's a great
beginning.
sitcom. Sheldon, very funny, says Bazinga.
Something had to happen,
Yeah.
and that's why it's a theory. But like, what pushed animals to go up onto land? There's no real like reason for them to go on land. I think that instead of God creating everything as is, I think there is an omnipotent being who's just like giving nature and everything just like a little nudge in the direction he wants it. I don't think he's actively going, you called that man bald? Smite you with bears. Fuck you,
Bear
stupid chicken.
smite. Bear smite.
Bear smite. Bear blast. Like, I don't think there's I don't think he's malevolent, but I also don't think he's benevolent either. I think he's just passive. Like, he sees things are staying the same way for a while, so he's just like, alright, here's a little nudge. And just like nudges things, changes like a tiny little thing, and then we advance on and stuff like that. That's what I like to believe. And like, I don't want to be like, I know a lot of like Bible thumpers will be like, "Oh well, how do you explain the dinosaurs? How do you explain the asteroid that killed them all? Do you think God sent it to them?" And I'm like, no. All right,
Doesn't the
look,
Bible say that the Earth's only existed for like a few thousand years? Like, isn't the Bible like dinosaurs are like a trick by Satan, according to Bible people?
dinosaurs have only existed for like 200 years, homie. You realize that, right?
Bitch, what?
Yeah, the word dinosaur has only existed since like 1800s.
No, I'm not saying it says that in the Bible, but I'm
George Washington did not know about the existence of dinosaurs.
yeah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that like I know that it doesn't say dinosaurs in the Bible. What I am saying is religious people nowadays.
Dragon in the Bible?
What?
It says dragons.
Are there dragons in the Bible?
Not like Game of Thrones dragons, but let me get you an accurate count here.
How many dragons are in the Bible?
God damn it. Alright, hold on.
Are there actually not dragons in the Bible? Or are you wrong?
No, I'm using the on-screen keyboard because I'm laying down and I'm lazy, but I gotta type this shit out.
The on-screen keyboard? Do you have a touchscreen computer?
No. No, it's just use your mouse to click on the keyboard on screen.
What the fuck? You can do that? That sounds awful.
Yeah, you can do that. It's great when you don't want to go and lean over to your actual keyboard.
I guess it's probably slightly better than.
Here you go.
Okay.
According to BibleStudyTools.com. Alright?
Great source.
The question is, what are the references to dragons in the Bible? Surprisingly, the word dragon occurs 21 times in the Old Testament as the King James Version.
Oof.
Now,
Okay.
dragons are also commonly referred to as large reptiles. So there's a little discrepancy there, but like the word dragon is in the Bible. It's just a specific version.
Okay.
But like
But yeah.
they didn't have a term dinosaurs. Dinosaurs didn't occur until like the early 1800s.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But what I'm saying is from what I've heard from religious people, the current stance is that the Bible says that the earth has only been around for like a few thousand years. And thus dinosaurs aren't real, and the evidence of dinosaurs is this trick by Satan to test your faith.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's not me agreeing. That's me agreeing with the statement that you made, not the actual statement
Not you
itself.
saying that you agree that that dinosaurs are a trick by Satan. Yeah, I got you.
I don't think Satan is a thing. That's another thing I don't believe. That's the other thing, like, that goes against Catholicism. I don't think there's a malevolent being opposite of God who's like, hey, I'm gonna make you rape that girl. Like, I don't think there's like someone pushing you to do bad things. I think people just have fucked up brains and do things that are illegal, that are societally bad. You just got a fucked up brain, and that's why you do bad things. I don't think there's a being, an omnipotent being, who's forcing you to do bad things. That sounds preposterous.
No, I don't think so either. Obviously, well, it's obvious that I don't think that because I don't believe in any solid thing at all. I just believe that there is something, and even that's like questionable. I hang out around with too many lefty super atheists that make me doubt even that. But I think deep in my heart, I believe that there's something.
Yeah, I mean, like, deep down in my heart, I also know, I agree with you. Like, there's gotta be something. There's no way that we are the perfect distance from the sun to produce life, the perfect conditions in a asteroid-filled void to give us carbon and the specific atoms and elements we need to create life. There's no way that we randomly decided to evolve into a higher There's no way that all of these have lined up perfectly. It's like the lottery, but like a trillion times. It's like 1 in a trillion. Like, those odds are abysmally low. There's no way that it just happened that way.
Yeah,
You know
for sure
what I'm saying?
not. Yeah,
That's what I believe in. I believe in something helped us along the way. Now, the Old Testament God, the Jew God, the Jewish God, sorry, the Jews, the Jews over here
Oh, OJ Simpson.
OJ's God is a very, very cool God. One constantly involved in the people of the world, trying to get Abraham to kill his son, throwing Jonah in a whale. This dude was all about contact and was like, dude, I'm gonna fuck with these people. Giving Moses the power of snakes, or making his rod turn into snakes, sending frogs and shit and killing people. Just absolute, he was just merciless. That's the kind of God I want to come back.
Now, Alex, are you willing? Here's the thing. Here's one of the stupidest things about the Bible, right? This is the ultimate test for any reluctant atheists who still maybe have a little bit of God fear in them. Here's one of the stupidest parts of the Bible. That is also a very important part of the Bible. Is apparently the one unforgivable sin. Apparently, you can be forgiven for anything else. You do a rape, you do a murder. If you accept Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior and repent for your sins, you can be saved. But the one thing you can't do is disrespect the Holy Spirit. You can't make fun of the Holy Spirit, or you are in hell.
Really?
Forever. So if I say the Holy Spirit is fucking stupid,
okay,
fuck the Holy Spirit, it's ugly.
From, though?
What?
Where are you getting that information, though?
From
if you say the Bible, I'm leaving the podcast.
It's in the Bible, Alex. I don't have it in.
Never heard of that.
Look it up. You're in a better position to look things up than I am, I would bet.
What's the worst sin that's unforgivable? Is that a good question?
Yes. What is the unforgivable sin? Probably.
Shit, you're fucking right.
Yeah.
According to medium.com, blah blah blah. Eternal sin. What's the worst sin? The only unforgivable sin, also called eternal sin, is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit.
So will you, Alex, agree with me that the Holy Spirit is stupid and probably bald and should eat a cinder block?
Hold on, I want to give our listeners a little bit of religion context here.
Okay.
In 3 of the 4 Gospels, including Mark chapter 3, verse 28 and 29, Matthew chapter 12, 31 to 32, and Luke chapter 12, verse 10, Jesus explains, and this is from Matthew, the book of Matthew, "Therefore I tell you, every sin and blasphemy will be forgiven men, but the blasphemy against the Spirit will not be forgiven. And whoever says a word against the Son of Man will be forgiven, but whoever speaks against the Holy Spirit will not be forgiven, either in this age or in the age to come." I learned something new.
That's so stupid.
I learned something new about Catholicism.
That is the stupidest thing in the Bible. It's so dumb.
Interesting.
Like you can talk shit about Jesus. You could do all the rapes you want, but you say something about that. You
can call Jesus any slur in the book.
You say something about that. You say something about that Holy Spirit. You're done. You're a little dumb 13-year-old in your little atheist phase, and you're like, "Fuck the Holy Spirit." You're gone, dead, destroyed.
That's weird. I don't know how I feel about that one.
It's a wild one, as many of them are.
I mean, I also have my silly little fan theory that I've had for years. I don't think it's been on this podcast, but I know I've said it on past ones or like IRL. I don't remember. I've said it a lot.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Jesus never rose from the dead. He had a twin brother.
Shut the fuck up.
Riely. The winners write the books. If the Gospels and all these other books wanted to paint Jesus Christ as the Son of God, they would leave out his twin brother, who looked exactly like him.
Jesus and Jesus.
I'm just saying, he had a twin brother that would fuck this entire operation up. They left him out. If you are writing books, if you're writing history books and you're one of the winners, you're going to leave that out.
I suppose.
His brother went and retrieved Jesus' body on the third day without anybody knowing, folded up all the cloths all nice and everything and left it there, freaked everybody the fuck out, went and buried his brother out of respect, and then decided, you know what, I'm gonna fuck with everybody, and then just stabbed nails in all his hands. He didn't even have to probably didn't even do that, honestly. He probably just went to the apostles and was like, hey yo, what's up? I'm back. And they're like, holy shit, Jesus? And he's like,
Yeah, man.
yeah, I rose from
Totally.
the dead. My father has allowed me a little bit of time left on this earth to talk to you. And they're like, holy shit. Oh my god. We gotta write this shit down.
Oh shit.
You see how like the story kind of gets
Dude, let's get the notebook.
though, right? You see how the story of his resurrection gets a little blown up there.
Sure.
You don't believe me.
Of course I don't.
Why? Like, it explains why he, quote unquote, rose from the dead.
No, maybe you're right.
It explains how I can't explain how he went and fed like 300 people with like 5 loaves and 3 fish. I can't explain that. I can't explain how he turned water into. Actually, the water into wine thing, it's probably just a common. Everybody back then had a lower IQ than us nowadays. He probably just watered down the wine and was like, oh, boom, I got water into wine, baby. And you turn 1 jug of wine into 4 jugs of wine. What the hell? This tastes exactly like wine.
Hello, internet, and welcome to Bible Theory.
I went to Catholic school for 13 years. You don't think I thought of all the ways to debunk this shit? This is not me saying that I believe in the theories that I am presenting. They are just arguing points. They're like think pieces.
Yeah.
We gotta send Kathy this episode after this, by the way.
I can't believe we sat down to do Pokemon 6 and now we've almost done a full hour about religion.
Just keep it going. This has been the most fluent. Just keep it going.
Just go with the flow. I mean, I don't have it. I think I've kind of said all needs to be said.
We can go back to the end of the world.
We can go back to the end of the world, okay?
Loop back to the end of the world.
Alex, you're gonna have to hook us back in here. I'm a responder tonight. I'm not a starter.
Do you think that there's gonna be like a choir of angels and like a golden ladder coming down at the end of the world, like a rapture?
No, that's stupid.
How do you think the world is legitimately gonna end if it were to happen in our lifetime?
I mean, nuclear fallout, obviously.
Why?
Because there are people already threatening to drop nukes and shit. Like, it's gonna happen. And then...
Do you think that... I don't think that's gonna happen, though.
It's mad, bro. It's mad.
I really don't think...
Mutually assured destruction. It's gonna happen.
I really don't think they're gonna press the button.
You know how many psychotic people have been on the end of that button? It's only a matter of time before one of them fucking... goes off the rails and presses it. You've got Kim Jong-un with one of those fucking buttons.
Okay. Let me put it this way. So, a nuclear bomb drops on New York City. What happens to you? One nuclear bomb. Hold on, here's the scenario. Kim Jong-un forgets to take his antipsychotic medication and decides to press the button and launches it, not New York, let's say he does LA or San Francisco, and launches it there. What happens to you?
Doesn't Fallout like spread really far? And then there's the fact that once Kim Jong-un presses the button and nukes somewhere in America, then insert Mr. President here is going to press the button and nuke something in North Korea. And then somebody else is going to be like, and then then fucking Vladimir Putin's going to be like, oh, we're doing the nukes now? Let's fucking go. And then he's going to drop one somewhere, and then we're all going to die. It's a domino effect. Once one drops, they're all going to fucking drop, and we're just going to die.
All right, let's see. I want to make sure that I am correct in assuming. Okay, so you are correct that the fallout will spread all across the United States, depending on the wind and stuff. Where is
I think the world will end.
What is the attack area, though?
Via nuclear fallout.
See, you're not giving me the information I want. Okay. Like, a single nuclear bomb is not going to do as much damage. Like, if it hit San Francisco, everybody would die in San Francisco. But up in Maine, you might have to go and, like, retreat to a bunker or stay inside for a couple days, but it would be fine. What's this picture? Does this support what I'm talking about?
I don't know, does it?
I don't know. I don't have enough information. Nuclear fallout is a thing. However, if Kim Jong-un decides to hit San Francisco with a nuclear bomb, even the most powerful one in the world, right?
Sure.
You realize the minute it's on its way, we're either going to shoot it down over the Pacific, and cause just a little bit of fallout, or if it actually lands and kills people, we're just gonna press our button and shoot and just blow up the entire country.
And then the fallout is all gonna come together like a symphony and kill literally everyone.
No, that's not how nuclear bombs work. Did you know they tested nuclear bombs?
Have they?
In the United States?
Have they? I know they've tested atomic bombs, which is different.
I am pretty sure. Yeah. The world's first nuclear explosion occurred on July 16th, 1945, when a plutonium implosion device was tested at a site located 210 miles south of Los Alamos, New Mexico.
Interesting.
So they have tested nuclear bombs. And like you said, I don't think they're going to use nuclear bombs. I think they'll just use atomic bombs because those cause a lot of damage, but don't create any fallout. I really don't think there's going to be a nuclear war.
Then why are they all making nuclear bombs?
Because people don't know the difference between nuclear and atomic. There's a difference, right? Am I dumb?
Yes.
Am I retarded?
I couldn't tell you what the difference is, but I'm aware that there is a difference.
Oh, atomic bombs are nuclear bombs.
Oh.
Yeah,
why
just
is there a different
hydrogen
name for them?
Yeah, nuclear bomb is just something that's happening on a nuclear level, like atomic level. Like they're doing something to the atom's nucleus with like protons and neutrons and shit.
Okay.
So like atomic bombs utilize nuclear fission. There are other ones that are thermonuclear, blah blah blah, hydrogen bombs. It's just a general term. So like yeah, they've lit off nuclear bombs before, and there hasn't been like mass world fallout. That only happens when it gets into like the airstream. There's a whole bunch of shit going on. Like I'm pretty sure like Chernobyl, nuclear fallout is also not the end of the world. It's just, well, you just can't go in there anymore.
Yeah.
Like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, whichever one was worse, they still have like a fallout zone that's like, yeah, you should not be going in there or you're going to get a lot of radiation. Chernobyl, you can't go into Chernobyl with the nuclear power plant that blew, I believe back in like the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
I don't remember when it happened. there's like a whole big like massive nuclear mass. I think it's called the elephant's foot. It like you can't get close to it even in like in a suit. You'll like die within minutes. Like you just can't get close to it cuz it's just blasting off pure radiation.
Shit.
Like the nuclear fallout that everybody believes of like, oh, it's going to black out the sun or it's going to cause it's not. Like people can drop bombs. It's if you drop a bomb on me, I'm probably going to drop 4 on you and then I'm going to shut you up or kill you. It's just people don't understand what nuclear bombs are. And they're nothing like the video games that explain, oh, we went into a nuclear winter. Like it doesn't happen that way.
You don't happen that way.
I'm just spitting straight fact today.
I know. You're really fucking
I'm on my
holding
game.
it down.
I'm on my game. You decided to talk about the end of the world, and I'm like, boom, all right. And then you're like, religion. I'm like, ooh, I got you. All right.
we're in there.
Episode this week. Damn, we're almost at an hour.
Yeah. There's been some silence though, so we gotta kick it for another few minutes, I think.
Okay. How else do you think the world's gonna end? So I can go off for another 20 minutes of how you're wrong.
I mean, I don't know. How else does the fucking world end?
Use your brain. Like, do you think the world will
meteor?
The world will end in our lifetime?
I don't think so.
Okay. Why?
I think it'll be closer to our lifetimes than you might think, but I don't think it'll be in our lifetimes.
Do you think it's going to be because of natural causes like an asteroid or the sun exploding? Or do you think humanity is going to take itself out?
I think it's probably... I mean, it's a luck of the draw. Like, there's a number of freak things that could happen to accelerate it. But I think, yeah, at the end of the day, humanity's gonna fuck itself over.
So, like, I watched a documentary about this. It was like a nature documentary. There's like a whole thing where while the Earth has been developing, there was the aquatic. I'm using wrong terms here, but I'm not using the scientific terms. Like, there have been multiple dominant species throughout history. It used to be like aquatics, like fish and shit, and then it was amphibians, the ones that evolved to go onto land, but still had to like lay eggs in the water. There was an age of reptiles, which is also known as the dinosaurs. And then once the dinosaurs got wiped out, the mammals took over. And that's what we are. Are mammals. So, like, we could very well be on our way to the next extinction. We've only been around for, like, what? Maybe 10 that humans, Homo sapiens, have only been around for 30,000 years. Like, the dinosaurs were around for what, like hundreds of millions or something like that?
Yeah.
So, I don't think anything's gonna happen to us, but because of our higher intellect, we're definitely gonna fuck shit up because we're dumb. We big dumb.
Yeah.
Our heads got too big because we started cooking meat on fire.
I'm trying to remember what the thing in Dinosaurs was. Like, there was a really dumb... Like in the show Dinosaurs, the sitcom Dinosaurs, where a bunch of guys run around in dinosaur costumes made by the Jim Henson Company, and it's a sitcom about like a family, but they're dinosaurs.
Is that the 90s one?
Yes.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
That show ends with a nuclear winter, and it's caused in a very stupid way, and I'm trying to remember what it was.
Oh, man. I might be able to look it up. Hold on.
Like the father of the family is directly responsible in some form.
With say so, we say so. Work, I don't know. Yeah. Work to remedy the poppy problem by spraying chemicals throughout Pangea. But this kills all the plants, leaving no food for the residents. As the company continued to try and correct their misguided plans, the situation worsened and led to the Ice Age, ending the show with the family huddled in their home.
Yeah, pretty fucked up way to end a family sitcom about dinosaur family. You would think it would end with a meteor if they wanted to end it with some sort of apocalypse, but they made up a new apocalypse for it to end with instead.
The corporatocracy got them.
That baby died before it could ever learn to say anything that was not the mama.
Man, the 90s were a wild time for puppets, bro.
Yeah, there was a lot of puppet shit going on in the 90s.
Got Alf.
Dude, Alf kicks ass. Alf is great.
You know Alf?
I love Alf.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
because I saw it on the Hub network.
You know about Alf. I was naming them off the top of my head. Go ahead.
There were reruns on the Hub network when I was like 12 or whatever.
Tell me about Alf. I've never seen it.
You never seen Alf?
No, I've never seen Alf. I've seen maybe clips, but I don't care about
It's
it.
just it's like E.T. but a sitcom kind of. It's like you got a guy. He's an alien named Alf. He's from the planet Melmac, which is a planet of weird elephant. They have like little elephant. They don't have elephant trunks, but they have like little snouts.
Like
Um,
anteaters.
yeah, they're like anteaters, and they eat cats, and they live on the planet Melmac. And Alf goes to Earth because I think the planet Melmac gets destroyed or something. So Alf goes to Earth, and he ends up in the home of a suburban family with a wife and a husband, and an old daughter and like a young son. And he ingratiates himself with them, and they decide that he's going to be their friend, and they're going to hide him from the evil Earth government who wants to cut him open or whatever. And he's part of their family, and he gets into some wacky Alf shenanigans because he's a silly man. And he tries to eat their cat in comical ways that never succeed. And he, and they just get to have some wacky adventures, and it's a very fun show. Also with a fucked up ending, because I guess that was just a trend back then.
What was the ending?
The ending was
Spoilers for
well,
Alf, by the way.
spoilers for Alf. So
I don't think we need to say. I was doing that as a joke. I don't think any of our listeners care or even know what Alf is.
so Alf ends where so I guess Alf gets like contacted by other members of his race. And he's gonna go like back out to space with them to either go back to Melmac if it's not destroyed, or like go to a new Melmac. I don't quite remember the lore, but he's gonna leave the Earth with some Melmacians. So the family's all sad. They're saying their tearful goodbyes to Alf, who's gonna go live with his people. And then they go to the field where Alf is supposed to go onto his spaceship and go live with the Melmacians. Then the government ambushes them, and the other Melmacians fly away and leave Alf for dead. And that's the end of the show, because they got canceled and ended on a cliffhanger.
What the fuck,
Yeah.
bro?
Then there is a movie though, but the movie resolves it, but also kind of makes it more fucked up. I've never seen the movie, but I've like read a plot summary. So I guess like Alf gets involved in some sort of adventure or whatever. Maybe it doesn't end terribly for Alf. But there's like none of the human characters come back for the movie. So they're relegated to a throwaway line where they were like exiled to Greenland to live in isolation.
Fuck.
Because they knew too
So
much.
weird.
They knew too much about the aliens, so they had to shove them off.
Do you know what Alf stands for?
Alien life form.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Dude,
His real
that's
name is
wild,
Gordon
bro.
Shumway.
What?
His real name is Gordon Shumway. That's Alf's real name. Alf is a name that the husband of the family gives him. His real name is Gordon Shumway.
I didn't know Alf had a real name.
He does.
I thought they were just racist the entire time.
Well, they were. They just called him Alf, but they never called him his real name, which was Gordon Shumway.
That's wild. How do you know so much about Alf?
Because I watched a shit ton of it as a kid, because it started airing on the Hub Network, and I liked it a lot, and I had the internet at the time, so I looked it up on the internet, and like all the episodes were free on IMDb back then, so I just watched a shit ton of Alf. And also, whenever I like a show, I will just research it all the time. So even if I haven't seen all of it, which I don't think I've seen all of Alf, I know like all the important shit because I've like read a bunch of Wikipedia articles about it.
Interesting.
That's my weird autism. Is if I'm interested in a thing, I will just read a shit ton of Wikipedia articles about it and things related to it.
Look, I got the Pokemon autism. Okay, it's not my fault. You don't get to choose your autisms.
It's true. But yeah, Alf's a good show. I would recommend it.
Look, I still have to go and watch My Name Is Earl, but
yeah, but My Name Is Earl is literally one of the best shows ever made. Like, fuck
yeah,
Alf.
Isn't the ending like kind of fucked up though?
It is also a cliffhanger ending, but it's not as fucked up as the other two that we just described by any stretch.
Okay, so then I was told wrong. All right.
No, it's not like a tragic ending. It's just like it's a cliffhanger, so it sucks.
I was told he kills himself.
That is not correct. Somebody told you Earl kills himself at the end of My Name Is Earl?
Yes.
Why did they tell you that?
Probably because they haven't seen the show.
Yeah, bro, that show ends with Earl kill himself, bro.
Don't tell me the ending because it is on my list of things to watch eventually.
Yeah, it's you're not gonna like the ending because it's a cliffhanger, but the show is worth it, even though that happens.
I just won't watch the last episode. I'm cliffhanger, you're cliffhanger. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. This is my cliffhanger. I'll do it how I want.
I'll stop halfway through. Ooh, what happens next? Well, don't you want to know how it ends? Be like, you don't even know how it ends. Fuck you.
Oh, you can end halfway through. That'd be the biggest cliffhanger of all. Because halfway through would be the end of season 2, and that season ends on a big ol' thing.
Can you imagine if I got to the Dick Show and they're like, "Oh yeah, Eric July is getting sued by the International School of Ministry," and I'm like, "All right, I'm good," and I just quit. How frustrated would you be?
I would be at this point. I would be like, "What the fuck?" I would be pissed.
I feel like you'd have a sit down conversation and be like, "Dude, you have to continue," and it would be an every week thing. And I'd be like, "Nah, I kind of got burnt out," and you'd be like, "You have to continue. You're basically at the end."
You went at it too hard, and now I'm too invested. Like if you had just been like very casually listening, like you weren't showing a lot of interest, but you're like, "Yeah, I've been listening to that still," and then eventually you were like, "I kind of petered out." I'd be disappointed, but I would live with it. But now that you've become so deeply invested that you've like had hours long conversations about it with me and bought me Dick Masterson's book and cups with him and his friend's face on them. Like I need you to finish it for me.
I can guarantee with 100% that I will always keep up with the Dick Show. I give you like a 75 to 85% that I'll keep up with Biggest Problem.
Wow, not so interested in Biggest Problem, huh?
The Dick Show it's better. I feel like Dick can be himself because he's not restricted by the YouTube gods.
He does not pay much mind to the YouTube gods, even on Biggest Problem.
You don't think so, but he does. Like it's not as apparent, but like he's seen what happens with his show to where he wants Biggest Problem to stay on YouTube.
Now I'm thinking the funniest sentence that I've ever heard, not to get on Biggest Problem for too long, but like sometimes just like one interaction will stick with me forever. And it's not even like a full interaction. There's an exchange. And the reason I think about it is because Trixie put it in like the intro of her new show. Because she has like a new show, and like in the intro it plays like a bunch of little clips of like things on the internet because it's relevant to the show. And one of the clips is an interaction between Vito and Dick on Biggest Problem, where they're talking about Dick getting banned from Nextdoor, which is an app where you like
I know next
interact
door.
with your neighborhood or whatever the fuck. And Dick got banned from Nextdoor, and Vito was like, "How'd you get banned? What did you do to get banned?" And then Dick says, the way he says it is so perfect. He's like, I think it was. Why don't you say that to my face? And then there was a comma, and then they just start laughing uncontrollably, as if to imply that there was something horrific after the comma.
Slur, one might infer.
One might infer. I think it was. Why don't you say that to my face? And then there was a comma.
That's great. No, you caught me in a time where I didn't really have anything else to do. Like, you caught me in between, like, binging things. I didn't
Oh
have anything to
man,
latch onto. So it was just perfect
what an
timing.
evening. What a week. I've been I've basically gone full. I'm not abandoning it, to be clear. I do plan to get it back on the horse, but as of right now I'm like fully off the sobriety horse.
Start drinking.
I've bought a couple pens. I'm
Start
high right now.
drinking.
Wait, why can't I hear you?
Start drinking.
Oh, there, I can hear you now. Drinking is worse. Drinking is much worse.
Come to the liquor, my boy. The liquor will solve all your problems.
I do want to try. I do kind of want to try alcoholic eggnog, but I'm probably not gonna be able to get my hands on it before it's gone for another 365
You
days.
gotta wait. You gotta wait on that shit. Don't turn to eggnog right now. It's all gonna expire soon. It's the end of December. It is not the time. If you want to get really fucked up, try Christmas ale.
The fuck is Christmas ale?
Oh, do you not have Christmas ale down there?
Maybe I do. I've just never heard of it. I'm not an alcohol virtuoso here, Alex.
Oh, I don't know if it's shit. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't know. It's a Great Lakes Brewing Company. So, like up here. I don't know if it gets shipped nationwide. So Christmas ale is a very like heavily spiced beer with like a little bit of I think cranberry. It's a holiday beer made by the Great Lakes Brewing Company.
Well, I fucking
And
hate beer, so
you're probably not gonna like it anyway. But it's got like a lot of like holiday spices and shit in it. And like basically beer is set around 4 to 5% alcohol content. Christmas ale gets bumped up to like 7 or 8, which I think is really funny for the holidays because everybody gets drunk around the holidays. So it's fitting. But I can only have like a couple of them because they're not that great, but it's like drinking 2 beers in one. Anyway, turn to the liquor, boy.
I don't know if replacing one vice with another is the best idea.
Turn to the liquor.
I feel
You
like
can
I feel like I'd rather continue to be a raging pothead than become an alcoholic.
Nah, join the club.
As a pothead, I'm just stupid. Alcoholics like get violent sometimes. I don't know how I would be as an alcoholic. I know I am as a pothead, just like dumb and like too sleepy. But that's manageable. I could live with that.
You know my stance on your weedaholicism.
Yes, I understand, and it has interfered with the show. So you're probably frustrated at this point. Not tonight. I did pretty well tonight, but there.
No, you did great tonight. You brought up something that we didn't even intend on talking about.
That's the thing with my. It's like a roll of the dice because like sometimes I get high and like it opens my fucking brain holes and I become like super conversational and it ends up being like a really fun podcast, if not a little bit scatterbrained. Like that's how the episode of the Death Stream that is now lost media because it got banned for some hate speech that I don't remember. But that was a 5-hour show where I was high as fuck the whole time. And I was super talkative because that's the type of high I was.
I guess it's hit and miss,
Yeah,
but
like sometimes I'm like a talkative, like some. I think this is the phenomenon I described in the last cold open, where I have three types of high. I have mean high, I have autistic high, and I have sleepy high. And it's which one of those am I gonna hit? Am I gonna be mean high, where I just like bully Crow Royalty into getting actually mad at me during the show every time? Am I gonna get autistic mad or autistic high rather, where I get super introspective and have long ass conversations about shit? Or am I going to be sleepy high where I just like am unresponsive and then fall asleep in the middle of the podcast?
yeah, it's just hit and miss.
The goal is still to be not high at all, on a regular basis, and I've made meaningful progress. It feels like cope to say that after you failed, but like there was a point in my life very recently when I could not go a single day without weed in my system. And even with my several relapses, I've proved that I can go several weeks at a time without it, which is progress from where I was. So even though I've had my occasional dip back into the fucking pit binges, the fact that I've gone like weeks and even like a month plus without it is big progress.
Yeah.
And like I've never had a relapse last too long either. Like usually there'll be like a week or two bender, which I have not surpassed that yet now. I think that we're going into week 2, and I don't think I plan to buy any more once this pen is dried out. And then hopefully I will continue to be without it for a decent amount of time after that.
You know my stance, and you know I haven't had to come talk to you yet, so.
I'm surprised you didn't after the 2 weeks ago fiasco.
I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? That everybody makes one mistake. He's on strike number 2.
Wait, what was strike number 1?
That was strike 1.
Oh,
Now I'm waiting for strike 2.
okay, I see what you're saying.
You basically can fuck up 3 episodes before I come to you and be like, no more getting high on the podcast.
And that will be the day that it won't be the day the Detour head ends, but it'll be the day that leads to Detour head ending when I don't follow that credence.
Unless you can prove yourself that you can manage it. That's all I care about. I don't give a fuck what you do. I care about the podcast.
Which is understandable.
So as long as it doesn't interfere with the podcast, we don't have to have a talk.
I feel like besides that one time, it's never really interfered with this show, which is weird. I think it might be something to do with our dynamic, because like
We
it's
do have an
definitely
incredible dynamic.
yeah, like it definitely fucked it.
By the way, congratulations on keeping this podcast going for an entire year.
Hell yeah, let's go.
An entire year straight, by the way.
But yeah, like I think I've always been able to like do it with you because I think you just keep me in a place where I can continue to engage. But I think on the issue crew, where like I'm kind of the driving force more so than I am here. Like I'd say here, it's a show where it's just two of us, and I feel like two of us hold equal weight within the show. Whereas the issue crew is like it's me and like 5 other people, but I have a little more weight because I'm the showrunner among multiple people, and they kind of expect me to be a little more on top of things. So like I've had disasters on the issue crew where I've been too stoned and I've just fucked around because I'm kind of expected to run that shit, and I was in no condition to. But when I have a running mate and it's me and somebody else running it together at equal force, I'm more capable of pulling that off. Well, my brain is fogged by the Mary Jane.
I feel like you also care a lot about this show to keep it going.
Well, I also care about the issue. If I didn't care about the issue crew, we would have
long.
ended it fucking 6 months ago when it was terrible consistently. But I cared about it enough to keep it going.
You genuinely enjoy doing this every week.
That's true. That is correct.
But I do think you and I have something like I've I'm trying to put this lightly to where I don't offend anybody. I don't think you have the same chemistry with me as you do anybody else that you've podcasted with.
I would say there are those that come close, but I
They
think that
come
our
close.
chemistry is
I'm
something
not saying
special.
I'm the best. I'm not like ranking. I'm saying what you and I have here is unique to everybody else that you podcast with.
When it comes to one-on-one dynamics, I know you're definitely like, if not the top, you're very close to the top. The only person that I would really contend might be like another option is Demigloom.
Demi
Like,
Gloom is a very I would say is very good just because you two work off each other as well.
yeah, like me and Demigloom kind of have this thing where we're just, we work off of each other very well. That's a good way to describe it. We did a lot of.
Something you respond with yours and it's a constant cycle of responding to the next person. It's not I say a statement, you say a statement. It's I start something off and you respond, then I respond and back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say you did have good chemistry with Gingy in the early days of Pixels as well.
And I, Gingy, I
Penguin
don't want to talk
has
about
good chemistry
Gingy.
with everybody too. I have good chemistry with Penguin. It just she's got to be in the correct mood for podcasting to have it be a good episode.
Penguin also, the thing about Penguin is like, I think she works a lot better in one-on-one scenarios because she is very she very easily will fall into the very
She's passive.
passive, yeah. So if it's not just her talking to somebody else, if it's three people talking and she's one of them, she will fall into the background.
Well, like the episodes that I really liked from Pixels were like the group dynamic where you guys all had to carry your own weight. It was split three ways with the your own RPG character. Do you remember that episode? It was like 5 years ago. So,
What the fuck? What?
but like the name that I get reminded of is Butch the something or whatever. I can look it up real quick.
Oh shit. Yeah, the platformers one.
The platformers, not RPGs. My bad.
You said Butch the Karate Bulldog, and I thought you were thinking about a whole different show, but then I realized I did that on Pixels too. Because Butch the Karate Bulldog, I've talked about in depth twice. I don't remember what came before the other, but I talked about it on Pixels. We did an episode where we each thought of our own, like silly little platformer mascot. That could be the star of like a platform. Because like back in the '90s, there were a million like marketable platformer characters. Like you had like cats and fucking weasels and shit that all had their own little platformer games on like the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. And we all invented our own platform mascot. And there was another show I did, which I still attest is one of my favorite shows that I've ever done. I haven't re-listened to it, and it probably would make me cringe because I still had my 2018, 2019 voice, and that makes me want to die whenever I hear it. But I used to do a show called Ghost of Gaming Future, which was unfortunately short-lived. And the premise of that show was there was three hosts. It was me and Jason, and it was originally Jason's friend Joey, but after the first episode, he backed out, and I think we did like four more after that, maybe five more, and we replaced Joey with our buddy Daniel, who is a very old friend of mine who I met. I met through In Arceus We Trust, actually. Daniel was somebody who was on that show once or twice.
Real quick, it was Louie, Waffle, and Butch.
Yes. So yeah, it was Louis. I remembered Waffle was a penguin.
It came out March 4th, 2019.
2019. Yeah.
Almost 5 years ago.
So we did Ghost of Gaming Future, and one of the games that I brought in, I think I only ever got to do two games. There was Super Smash Bros. Duel, which was a 2D like traditional fighter with Nintendo characters and other video game characters that I pitched.
Real quick, I'm gonna go AFK for a minute, but I'll have my headset on. I just have to pee, so keep talking.
Yeah, so we did this. I did Smash Bros. Duel, which was like a Dragon Ball Fighter style, like traditional 2D fighter with Smash Bros. Characters. And then I did Butch the Karate Bulldog. I fulfilled that to some extent. Thought about like what the gameplay and stuff would be, and I described the Butch the Karate Bulldog game. I really miss doing that show. I might wanna try to like organize a reunion soon. I don't know if Jason will be down. He's kind of just it's hard to convince Jason of anything podcast related in general. So whenever I have a podcast idea that involves him, I become instantly skeptical that I'll be able to pull it off. But I'd really like to do a reunion because that show was really fun. Daniel is one of the funniest people I've ever worked with. Demi Gloom does not like him very much, but that happens to the best of us. uh, he's the reason we don't. It's now an official. It hasn't come up yet, but it's an official rule within the issue crew that Demi Gloom is not allowed to be on with new guests unless they are leftist or she has an established relationship with them, because multiple times it has gone poorly. Demi Gloom is one to start fights. It seems with new people that I introduce her to. But we did.
All
This
right,
is just
I'm
kind of
back. I
yeah.
just remembered. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm good. Just Ghost of Gaming Future. I would recommend. If anybody who wants some classic Riley content, give it a shot because I remember it being good, and I'm gonna choose to continue to remember it being good instead of re-listening to.
So, do you remember the food thing that I told you about?
Oh shit! Yeah. Alex said she did something.
Uh,
She did a food sin, and she was gonna save it for the show and tell me about it on the show. What'd you do, Alex?
so I thought it was like chicken wings that I bought from Walmart for dinner tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this simple. It's already warm. I could just put them in my hands, just eat them. It'll be fine. Be easy. I get home, I open the bag. It's a full rotisserie chicken, and I'm
Oh
like,
shit, dog.
damn it. I'm like, I don't have the means to fucking cut this thing up. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. So I take my hands, no knife, no nothing, and I just start ripping meat off like a fucking maniac.
Oh no, that's fucking awesome. I'm super on board with
Meat
that.
on a separate plate, and then I just toss the chicken with no more meat on its bones, and I just throw it away. I just ripped it up like a fucking cave person.
No, that's awesome. That's rad.
It's a culinary sin to not use utensils and just rip it all apart.
Fuck utensils. Utensils are gay. Use
But
your hands like a man.
anyway, do you have New Year's plans? What are you doing for New Year's?
Fuck no, I ain't doing shit.
Nothing? Go hang out with Patrick.
I might. I don't know.
Hit him up. See what he's doing for New Year's.
No, because we both don't have any money. Is the problem.
Just hang out and play video games or some shit.
I mean, that's fair. Maybe we'll do that. I think I don't remember what I've done the past couple New Year's. I think the answer is nothing. The last time I remember anything about New Year's was I was gonna. There was a trend a couple years ago, and this is still a trend every New Year's now. But the first time I saw it was a couple years ago, where people would just take like videos they liked and like special moments from them and be like, if you start watching this at this time on December 31st, this thing will happen the exact moment that it turns midnight.
Oh, I know what trend you're talking about, where you start Infinity War at a specific time and right when it hits 12, Thanos snaps everybody dead.
Yes, like that. Oh, people spread a lot of versions of that with different media. And I remember one year, I think this was probably 2021, maybe 2020. Um, no, it must have been before because Noah was still around. Maybe it was 2019. This is it's telling. The last time I remember something significant happening on New Year's, it was 2019. Or I think it was the gap between 2019 and 2020. It was New Year's 2020. And I had done my own calculation, and my idea was so. If you don't know, folks, I'm obsessed with a YouTuber named Monkey Jones, and he made a video called "Wheel of Punishment," more specifically, "Wheel of Punishment 2." It was a two video series. It would have been more, but one of the members had some issues. So the Wheel of Punishment was a thing where Monkey Jones would get together with Rusty Cage, who is a content creator with millions of subscribers, but not as many like current fans. The reason he has so many subscribers is because he made the Knife Game song. The I have all my fingers, the knife goes chop chop chop. Playing the knife game with that song. That was him. That was Rusty Cage. So it's Monkey, it's Rusty Cage, and then it's Asperger, Monkey's old buddy. And they spin a wheel. The wheel lands on a punishment. If they do the punishment, they get a point, or they can bitch out of the punishment, and then somebody can steal the punishment to get a point themselves. It's a fun little game show, jackass type scenario. And one of the punishments on Wheel of Punishment 2 was they had to reenact the viral Pickle Ree video, if you recall that.
Kind of.
Where a guy went to a McDonald's when the Szechuan sauce promotion was going on, and he asked for Szechuan sauce, and when they didn't have Szechuan sauce, he freaked out, started yelling, and then jumped on top of the fucking desk and fell on the floor and started going re. It was a joke. The guy was doing a prank, but that's what happened, and it became a big viral meme. And one of the punishments on the Wheel of Punishment was that they had to, if they landed on it, they had to go to a McDonald's and do Pickle Ree. And I timed it so that exactly at midnight it would be Asperger doing Pickle Ree.
Okay.
At the McDonald's. And I had that all set up, and I started watching, and then my dumb little friends came to the door, and I had to go to fucking my friend Noah's house and fucking watch fireworks with them and shit. And I was pissed because I didn't get my Pickle Ree. I think I might do the Pickle Ree redemption this year. If I'm not doing anything, I'm just gonna put on Wheel of Punishment 2 and get the Pickle Ree at midnight for real this time.
Okay. You should hit Patrick up, even if you're just hanging out playing video games or something. I don't know, it's cool to spend New Year's with someone.
Yeah, it's fair.
Maybe you guys will get your New Year's kiss.
Ha!
So I'm heading out to a friend's house. We're having a small get together of maybe 10 people max. We're doing a pajama party.
Ooh, fun.
For New Year's, yeah. So it's specifically onesies or kigurumis. You know what those are?
Kangarumis? No.
Kigurumis. It's the adult onesies.
Oh, well, you can say adult onesie, and I understand that. I've never heard that term.
Onesie sounds like baby shit. Kigurumi sounds nerdy and fun.
That's
Fuck
fair.
you. Anyway, me and my friend Nessa are going as red pandas, and we apparently bought the same one, so we're gonna match, and it's great, and it's gonna be fun. I want to get a picture, and I might post to Twitter because I don't post to Twitter. Speaking of fucking Twitter,
Out of curiosity, what'd you say your friend's name was?
Nessa.
Is that the one I know, or is it a different Nessa?
It's Vanessa,
Okay, but do I know this person?
Val's sister.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, but speaking of Twitter, there was another thing that I wanted to bring up. I keep getting phantom followers, by the way.
Oh yeah, I get them every day.
Oh, are you getting them too?
Well, I guess what do you mean by phantom followers?
The followers where if you click on their thing, they have no very little followers themselves, and every single one of them says they joined in December 23.
Oh yeah, those are bots, and I get them literally every day. I get at least once a day, like clockwork. I'll get one to follow me.
Yep, that's been happening to me. The first time it happened, I was like, oh my god, I gotta follow? And then I clicked and it said December 23. I was like, you got me. You got me excited about it. Fuck you, I thought I had a new follower. But we're at an hour 36. You want to wrap up?
Real quick, I wanted to revise real quick. I was thinking of doing the if you stop the thing, if you start watching the thing at the right time, this thing happens at midnight. I was thinking of doing a biggest problem or dick show related one. I had this thought a couple weeks ago, and I forgot about it until just now. And I couldn't think of exactly what moment it would be, but I think I have an idea now.
Okay, shoot your shot, because I think the minute you said Biggest Problem or TDS. I was like, I have the perfect one, so I want to see if yours
Okay,
is.
well, my
Yeah.
moment is a very vintage one. This is old biggest problem shit. My idea is to start listening to episode 50 of Biggest Problem and time it so exactly at midnight Asterios breaks in with his unexpected guest bit.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know if mine's better or not.
What's yours?
The episode where Dick, uh, it's where Sean is in Australia and Dick is with Johnny, and Dick is pissed that he missed the Australia trip, the Australia road rage. So
Yeah.
instead of saying yeah, he just screams no.
Oh, that's a good one too. That's pretty good.
Either that, or you could have Sean fumble the only yeah he's ever done.
Oh yeah, he did fumble that. I remember. I've heard that one.
Or you could start off. You could go back to 2016, right after the election, where instead of Dick playing his Dick's theme song, it's all remixed for Trump for 2024.
Maybe. That's a good one too.
There's a lot of good openings. Or you could just do a classic where it just yells yeah. Just start off with yeah at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, that's a good idea as well.
There's a lot of like really good ideas. You could also time it out with the Titanic bit. You could do Maddox Lost for the very first time.
Oh. That's a good one too.
There's a lot of good ideas. But anyway, Riely, where can our listeners find you?
linktr.ee/Riely Cinematic Universe. That's Riely. Cinematic Universe. There's cool stuff on there that you can go check out. YouTube channels, podcasts, fucking cool shit on the internet. You know, it's so cool and fun on the internet, and you can get so many things that I do there on linktr.ee/Riely Cinematic Universe. Particular shout out to my the current most newest, happinest, tippin' a hoppinest Riely project is Riely Radio Live, which is a show that I'm doing. It does not have a schedule, but I'm trying to do at least one a week. And I just go live on my YouTube channel, try to get some buddies to call in and just do a fun little formless podcast, have a good time. And then I upload, then I clean it up a little bit with like silence editing and like noise editing, and I post a archive version to the Riely Podcast mega feed. So if you missed the live show, you get a slightly higher quality version to listen to the archive on the mega feed if you are interested. The most recent Riely Radio Live, which maybe it won't be by the time this comes out. I think I might do one this weekend. But the most recent one I've done as of right now was a crossover. We did a crossover episode with Mo Diggity's Kick.com talk show, The Mo Show. We both went live. We crossed the streams. We did a crossover episode. Me, Mo, and Kang. We hung out. We talked for a couple hours. It was a good one. And you should check out Riely Radio Live. You can check out the live shows on my YouTube channel, Riely and Friends, or if you miss them, you can listen to the archive in a slightly polished form on the Riely Podcast mega feed.
Sounds good. You can find me at.
Go ahead.
If you
I
have,
forgot you didn't do that.
if you're not already listening to the show on the YouTube channel, that YouTube channel is Colochu, COLOCHU. You can find me on Twitter as Colochu54, and that's about it.
Epic.
All right. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening to Detour Ahead. And everybody, I guess I fucked that up. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening to Detour Ahead. I have been Alex.
And I've been Riely.
And this has been one full year, one full, complete, and chaotic year of Detour Ahead. Happy New Year, everybody.
And many more, folks.
Many more. We got to pass Pixels.
That's right. Fuck Pixels. Get them.
We're trailing way behind. We're only at 65. I think they're at like almost 2:30 something, I believe, but we'll catch up because that show's gonna end. The show has
Yeah.
to end
Everybody
eventually.
everybody fuck Pixels and also listen to Pixels because I'm kind of back on it, I think maybe.
I do want to make a guest. I do want to come back and do a guest appearance.
You should.
I think we should do like a Detour Ahead crossover with Pixels.
Does that mean we have to have DJ on this show?
I want DJ on this show. I feel
Do
like it'd be
you?
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with him anymore unless he still has a problem with me. I harbor some level of spite, but he's been cordial lately, so it's unearned. So DJ, I'm cool with you. I just have some aggression that still exists that results in maybe some offhanded comments, but we're cool. We're cool as of right now.
Anyway, thank you everybody so much for listening to Detour Ahead, and we will see you next Wednesday.
See you, bye.